Bing Bing came to the orphanage to pick an older brother. All the boys crowded around, praying to be the chosen one. Only I hid in the wardrobe and fell asleep. I thought I could escape the fate of becoming the Bai family's adopted son in my past life, and later, Bai Ningbing's husband. I wanted to live a free and happy life anew. But upon waking, I saw Bai Ningbing standing before the wardrobe door. She smiled and asked, "Brother, come home with me, okay?" When I saw Bai Ningbing's face before me, I thought I was still trapped in the nightmare from earlier. It wasn't until the headmistress sternly called my name, Song Pei, that I snapped back to reality, realizing this wasn't a dream. "Why are you hiding here asleep?" Seeing me frozen in place, the headmistress reached out and pulled me from the wardrobe. She straightened my collar and pushed me toward Mr. and Mrs. Bai. "You fell asleep, but Miss Bai told us not to wake you. Everyone has been waiting for you for a long time." Bai Ningbing stood before the couple when her name was called, wearing a faint smile as she looked at me. At this moment, she seemed different from the Bai Ningbing in my memory, who had always been quite cold toward me. She took the initiative to greet me. "Hello, Song Pei." For some reason, the way she said Song Pei felt oddly unsettling. I furrowed my brow and averted my gaze from hers, wondering internally why they had to wait specifically for me, when they could have chosen anyone else. What were they waiting for me to do? The director bent down to explain to me, "They want to adopt you. Little Pei, you're going to have a family now, with a mom, a dad, and a sister." The usually stern director gave me a rare smile, probably genuinely happy for me. For children in the orphanage, being adopted was considered a stroke of luck. But the director didn't know I had been reborn. I had known all along that Bai Ningbing would come to the orphanage today to pick an older brother, which was exactly why I had hidden in the wardrobe on purpose. "Xiao Pei, come home with us, okay?" Aunt Bai held my hand and said gently, "Abing has always wanted an older brother. You can be her brother from now on." This scene was exactly the same as in my previous life. Memories from my past life flashed before my eyes, like a slideshow in my mind. I immediately pulled my hand back. Looking up at the director, I said, "Director, I don't want to be adopted by them." Everyone was taken aback by my words. Bai Ningbing reacted the most strongly. Frowning, she asked me why. "Because I don't want to be your brother." Even though I had rejected her, not a trace of anger appeared on Bai Ningbing's face. Her tone instead grew even gentler, carrying a hint of subtle tolerance. "Then don't be my brother. Just come and live with me at the Bai family, okay?" The director secretly tugged at my sleeve, but still couldn't stop me from rejecting Bai Ningbing again. I thought Bai Ningbing would finally give up, but when the director asked the Bai couple if they wanted to choose a different boy instead, Bai Ningbing suddenly shouted loudly, "Mom, I want her." She said only she looks most like my brother. In my past life, Bai Ningbing chose me among many girls. Also because of this very reason, I had some resemblance to her brother. Back then, knowing I was chosen, I just felt heaven was showing me special favor. I was taken to the Bai family and renamed Bai Pei. And in that huge mansion, I had my own room. Even though that room wasn't truly mine, I was still content. Madame Bai said children from the orphanage. It inevitably felt a bit petty and small-minded. My speech and actions were never quite presentable. So, I worked to change my old habits. I became less and less like my true self. Mrs. Bai was very strict with me. I had to practice the piano every day, for over 12 hours. Even when my teacher clearly said I had no natural talent for the piano, Mrs. Bai would still sit with me, practicing every day. But some things can't be forced. "I'm sorry, Mom. I still can't play it well." Every time I apologized, Mrs. Bai would look at me even more dotingly, comforting me, saying it was all right. "As long as Xiaopei works hard, you'll surely play well one day." It was only later that I found out playing the piano was the hobby of Mrs. Bai's deceased son. That's why Mrs. Bai treated me that way. "You're just looking for another person's shadow in me." But I don't care about that. A fish dying of thirst doesn't care whether the water it gets is clean. It just wants to survive. The fish needs water. I needed her love. That was enough. I practiced the piano even harder and tried even harder to please Mrs. Bai. We were becoming more and more like a real mother and son, until at Bai Ningbing's engagement party. She was drugged, and I happened to walk into her room. When Mr. Bai saw me with Bai Ningbing, he was so furious he fainted. Mrs. Bai slapped me across the face. Why did I have to run into such an unlucky, repulsive person? Bai Ningbing looked at me in silence, with an emotion in her eyes I couldn't understand. But I think she probably regretted it too. Regretted choosing me as her brother back then. I don't know what happened. I didn't drug my sister. I tried to explain myself, but no one believed me. So much so that later, every time Bai Ningbing betrayed me, betrayed our marriage, she would say, "You were willing to drug me just to force me to marry you. Now, all of this is your karma." Bai Ningbing hated me. So after marriage, she always enjoyed humiliating me in public, making me lose face. Many in the circle were placing bets on how long our marriage would last, a year at most. Once the child was born, Bai Ningbing would kick him to the curb. Unfortunately, the outcome surprised everyone. Bai Ningbing and I were entangled for 19 years. Even after my death, my tombstone was still engraved with the words "husband of Bai Ningbing." Song Pei, tell me, why are you unwilling to be adopted by the Bai family? After Bai Ningbing left with his parents, the director called me into his office. I remained silent for a long time, before finally giving an offhand excuse. "I don't want to leave you and everyone here." The director sighed and urged me to think it over carefully. I knew he meant well for me, hoping I would have a better life in the future. But I didn't want to repeat the same mistakes, nor did I want to have anything to do with Bai Yunbing ever again. However, a fire that night shattered all my plans. "Did you start the fire?" I asked coldly, glaring at Bai Ningbing in the hospital. "It wasn't me," Bai Ningbing hurriedly explained. "The fire department has already determined. It was caused by aging electrical wiring." He finished speaking and laughed at himself. "Brother, you think too badly of me." I pushed him away with a cold face. "Who's your brother?" "It's strange, though. In this life, I've only met him 2 or 3 times. But Bai Ningbing's attitude towards me had an indescribable familiarity. Bai Ningbing ignored my coldness. He said, "I just want to help you. If you agree to come home with me, I'll pay for all of the director's treatment expenses." Last night, the orphanage caught fire. The director was severely burned. While rescuing us, I sneered mockingly. "Taking advantage of someone's misfortune, does that make you a good person?" Bai Ningbing didn't explain himself. He just said, "Song Pei, even if you don't want to be my sister, it's fine. You can just be fostered at the Bai family." He patiently persuaded and repeatedly compromised. But that only made me more curious. "Why are you so insistent on taking me back to the Bai family?" Bai Ningbing said, "It's because my mother has been missing my brother lately, and you look a lot like him. I want to bring you home to keep her company." I was only half convinced by her words. After all, Bai Ningbing's behavior toward me was just too unusual. I asked her, "Is that really all there is to it?" Bai Ningbing hesitated for a moment before nodding. "That's all there is to it." Although I didn't want to get involved with Bai Ningbing, the director was still lying in a hospital bed. On the way back to the Bai family home, Bai Sun kept trying to talk to me, but I remained silent the whole time. He probably knew he was unwelcome, so he softened his tone, trying to make conversation. "The Bai family can offer you much better conditions. No matter what, it's better than living in the orphanage. Song Pei, don't blame me. Everything I do is for your own good. I'm doing this for your own good." Bai Ningbing in my past life said the same words. Bai Ningbing hated me for most of his life. It wasn't until I was dying that his attitude toward me softened. But by then, my condition was beyond cure. Only a little cat kept me company every day. Once on a whim, Bai Ningbing suddenly came back to the villa to see me. He had someone throw away the cat I had raised for half a year. I asked him why. Standing against the light, he told me then, "I'm doing this for your own good." That's when I realized. When he said it was for my good, it wasn't truly for my benefit. That phrase was merely an excuse for him to satisfy his own selfish desires and need for control. Or maybe it's just another way for her to torture me. After all, that's her usual style. Whatever I like, she destroys. The car had just arrived at the Bai family estate. I saw Mrs. Bai already standing at the entrance of the villa. Bai Ningbing had told her in advance that he'd bring me, so she had a room prepared early. A room on the 2nd floor. "Song Pei, this will be your room from now on." Mrs. Bai easily took my hand. "Do you like it?" I lowered my gaze to look at the hand Mrs. Bai was holding. I withdrew it after a moment. I was no longer the same person from my past life. That person who yearned for a mother's love from Mrs. Bai. "Mrs. Bai, this is your biological daughter's room, isn't it? There are many of her old things in the room. You've kept them all very well. It's clear you treasure these items deeply. If I were to live in this room, what if I accidentally damaged any of these things? You will surely be saddened. I saw there's a guest room downstairs. I'll just stay in the guest room. Madam Bai looked at me, trying to say something more, but Bai Mingbing cut her off. Mom, Song Pei wants to stay downstairs. Please have the housekeeper tidy it up for him. I looked at Bai Ningbing, who spoke up for me. She probably doesn't know. The bigger reason I don't want to stay on the second floor is actually because her bedroom is right next door. In the past, before Bai Ningbing got engaged, she and I got along quite harmoniously. Even during our teenage years, Madam Bai asked me, Xiao Pei, what kind of girl do you like? I looked at Bai Ningbing, who had just returned from a run, and smiled. I like someone like my sister. This careless joke. Years later, this became evidence that I drugged my own sister. Every time I tried to explain that I didn't drug you, Bai Ningbing would grab my throat and refute me, saying, you said you liked me when you were 16. You liked me for all those years. And in the end, you even resorted to drugging me to force me to marry you. How come you don't dare admit it now? Probably because I'm back in this villa again. I dreamed about the events from my past life last night. During the final period of my life, the doctor said, it's not a solution for you to be alone all day like this. Call your family or friends to come spend more time with you. I have no family. As for friends, my best friend from back then was Bai Ningbing's fiancé, named Zhou Qingyu. In the 5th year of my marriage to Bai Ningbing, Zhou Qingyu returned to the country. Bai Ningbing personally went to the airport to pick him up and even organized a welcoming party for him. Someone intentionally recorded a video from the gathering and sent it to me. The two of them sat in a corner, lost in a passionate kiss. A video lasting just a few seconds. I watched it over and over all night long. And it was that very same night that I accidentally found out Bai Ningbing had secretly gotten rid of our second child. So that night, I asked her for a divorce. She asked me for a reason. I showed her that video. Bai Ningbing, I know you married me out of necessity back then, but now Zhou Qingyu has returned. It seems she has already forgiven you. So after we divorce, let's each live our own lives in peace. Actually, before this incident, I had asked Bai Ningbing for a divorce multiple times, but she always refused. I thought she would agree this time, with Zhou Qingyu back. But Bai Ningbing still tore up the divorce papers I had prepared and deleted the video from my phone. Song Pei. I suddenly jolted awake. A slap landed on Bai Ningbing's face. Bai Ningbing, who looks like a young girl, stared at me. Her eyes welled up with a grievance. I heard you crying from outside the door. That's why I came in to check. After saying that, she turned and walked towards the door. Only when she reached the doorway did she look back and say, hurry up and get out of bed for breakfast. You'll be late for school soon. Just like in my previous life, the Bai family transferred me to Bai Yunbing's school. Seeing me follow him into the classroom, someone asked Bai Ningbing, who is he? Bai Ningbing introduced me to them. He's Song Pei. He's currently staying with my family. For a moment, I thought back to my previous life. Before the drugging incident happened, whenever Bai Ningbing introduced me to others, she would always say, this is my brother Bai Pei. I gazed at Bai Ningbing, who was just a step away from me. It suddenly dawned on me that he seemed different from the Bai Ningbing in my memory. Neither like the youthful Bai Ningbing from my past life, nor like the one later, who was always tormenting and exacting revenge on me. My heart skipped a beat as a sudden thought struck me. Bai Ningbing. Abing. Just as I called out to Bai Ningbing and was about to voice my confusion, someone else called his name at the same time. Bai Ningbing glanced at me, then looked up toward the space behind me. I followed his gaze and turned around. The person calling him from the classroom door was Zhou Qingyu. Abing, wait for me after school. I have something to tell you. Only after saying this did Zhou Qingyu notice the person standing beside Bai Ningbing. The look he gave me was far from friendly. He sized me up as if sizing up an opponent. So you're the boy fostered by the Bai family. After all, he was my best brother in my past life. Almost the moment Zhou Qingyu looked at me, I could feel it. It's obvious. This is completely different from the past life. In the past life, once Zhou Qingyu found out I was Bai Ningbing's brother, he warmly slung an arm over my shoulder and called me Pei, bringing me into his social circle. But now his attitude towards me is more like how he was the last time I saw him in that life. That last meeting ended on a very unpleasant note. I asked him, the surveillance shows that the only people who entered Bai Ningbing's room that day were you and me. I didn't drug her. So it was you, wasn't it? Back then, I couldn't make sense of it. He likes Bai Ningbing so much. Why did he have to ruin their engagement banquet? His name is Song Pei. By Ningbing answered on my behalf. Zhou Qingyu gave me a perfunctory smile as she looked at me, without saying anything more. Afterwards, I sat in my seat. But I noticed Zhou Qingyu kept glancing back at me, even though it feels strange inside. I had no choice but to ignore him and avert my gaze, forcing myself to focus in class. In my previous life, I was not a good student. Mrs. White, however, did not mind my poor grades. It seems the worse I perform on exams. Mrs. White, on the contrary, became even happier. She always says that Song Pei is like little soldier's own older brother, more and more alike. He is also not fond of reading. Parents who love their children make long-term plans for them. Nowhere in the world is there a mother who isn't loving. I wish my son were just a useless person. When it comes down to it, he never truly saw me as his own son. To him, I was probably just a plaything for fleeting comfort. In this life, I refuse to repeat my past, spending the first half as a stand-in for someone else's son, and the latter half as a useless man who could only live off others, ending in melancholy. Therefore, studying is my only way out. But learning isn't easy either. After realizing I truly couldn't understand the knowledge in these textbooks, I got up somewhat dejectedly. Bai Mingming, who had been talking to someone, noticed my movement. He turned and asked where I was going. I impatiently replied, to the bathroom. In my memory, the boys' bathroom in high school was always packed between classes. But today, I surprisingly didn't see you there. It wasn't until I pushed open the bathroom door that I sensed something was amiss. Several boys inside turned their heads almost simultaneously to look at me by the door. The person closest to me was Zhou Qingyu. He tossed away the cigarette in his hand, glanced at the boy they had pinned to the floor, who was covered in dirty water, then walked over to me with a smile and said, "We're just messing around, joking with him. You won't tell by Ling Bing, right?" I stared at the cigarette but on the floor, and suddenly realized I never truly knew Zhou Qingyu at all. Otherwise, how could I not have known that she smoked back in school days and even bullied and harassed her classmates? After a moment's thought, I replied, "By Ning Bing and I aren't that close, are we?" Although Zhou Qingyu phrased it as a question, but her expression clearly softened a lot. "Aren't you staying at his place?" I met his gaze. "I'm just staying at his place, but we're not close." Zhou Qingyu nodded. "That's good." After saying that, she quickly left with her people. Once everyone was gone, I finally glanced at the boy on the floor. Then I quickly looked away and walked into a stall. When I came out again, the boy had his back to me. He was standing by the mop sink. There was nothing on his upper body. The shirt he had been wearing was under the faucet being rinsed. Hearing the sound of me opening the door, he quickly wrung out the shirt, put it directly on his body, and then hung his head, rushing out. As he passed by me, I suddenly reached out and grabbed him. The boy looked up at me, confused. I kept looking at him. We stared at each other in silence for a long while. Before I remembered his name was Su Hao. I took off my jacket and tossed it to him. "Your shirt's wet, or mine." Su Hao lowered his head again and refused. "No need. You'll catch a cold in a wet shirt." My words caused Su Hao's ears to turn bright red instantly. He seemed embarrassed and buried his face even lower. Hesitating for a moment, he finally accepted my jacket. Watching Su Hao walk into the changing room, I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Truth is, I'm not really the type who enjoys meddling in others' business. In my previous life, Su Hao had jumped to his death just days after I transferred to this school. The school's official explanation cited family issues. Plus, the academic pressure was overwhelming. But now it seems that the reason for her suicide might not be that simple. After all, it's a young life. "Thank you." Su Hao thanked me after changing his clothes. The words, "You're welcome," were on the tip of my tongue, but I swallowed them back. After a moment's thought, I asked Su Hao, "You must be a top student, right?" I remember Su Hao was ranked first in his grade before he jumped. He was taken aback for a moment, then nodded. "Not bad." "Su Hao." I glanced at the jacket he was wearing. "I'll lend you my jacket if you tutor me." I didn't give him any chance to refuse, and continued, "After the quiz, seats will be reassigned. We'll be desk mates then. It'll be convenient for you to tutor me." Su Hao hesitated for a long time before agreeing. After school, Bai Ningbing stubbornly insisted I rode back in the car with him. But as soon as I got in, Zhou Qingyu called out to him, "Bing, can we talk?" I wasn't interested in their affairs. Nor did I want to eavesdrop, but it was just too quiet here. Zhou Qingyu was emotional, and his voice was loud. Their conversation drifted to my ears on the wind. Zhou Qingyu asked Bai Ningbing, "Are you breaking up with me because of Song Pei?" "Hey Bing, we've been together for so long. The moment Song Pei shows up, you want to break up. I can't think of any other reason." Bai Ningbing's tone was somewhat helpless. "It has nothing to do with anyone, you. I just suddenly realized my feelings for you aren't romantic love. I've always seen you as a brother." In that instant, I suddenly understood why Zhou Qingyu had been paying such special attention to me today. Even during class, he kept turning around to look at me. During dinner, Mrs. Bai suddenly mentioned Song Pei. "I found you a piano teacher today. Starting tomorrow." She hadn't even finished her sentence when Bai Lingbing interrupted, "Mom, Song Pei doesn't like the piano. Please don't force your own hobbies onto him." Mrs. Bai smiled awkwardly, but didn't say anything more. I looked up at Bai Ningbing. My inner suspicion grew even stronger. In this lifetime, I had never told Bai Ningbing that I disliked the piano. The only person who knew I hated the piano was the Bai Ningbing from my past life. Back then, after he threw away my cat, my condition rapidly deteriorated. Bai Ningbing, who couldn't stand the sight of me, surprisingly put down his tools for once and moved back to the villa to take care of me. It just happened to be our 19th wedding anniversary. Bai Ningbing had a Steinway grand piano airship to China for me. Even though I said I didn't like the piano, I only learned it before because my mother liked it. That same night, Bai Ningbing just gave me a wristwatch as an additional gift. She suddenly seemed like a different person. She was attentive and patient with me. "How do you know Song Pei doesn't like the piano?" Mrs. Bai, unwilling to give up, asked me again. "Song Pei, do you want to learn the piano?" I quickly gathered my thoughts and declined with a smile. "Auntie Bai, I still have to focus on my studies. I really don't have time to learn the piano." After dinner, I was about to go back to my room to rest. Bai Ningbing stopped me. "Song Pei, after the quiz tomorrow, they'll assign seats based on the ranking. Where do you want to sit?" Seeing that I didn't answer, Bai Ningbing continued, "The 5th row by the window, is that okay?" This was the seat I always sat in during my previous life as a student. Bai Ningbing looked at me with burning intensity, eagerly awaiting my response. I glanced at him deeply and said casually, "Whatever." My one dismissive remark made Bai Ningbing act unusually excited. Until the next day, when he watched me walk right past him and sit down next to Su Hao. "Song Pei," Bai Ningbing called out to me in front of everyone. He forced a smile and asked me, "Did you get the wrong seat?" "No, I didn't." Bai Ningbing stood awkwardly in place. Only after a long while did he silently sit down. "Weren't you the first to choose a seat? Why did you pick this one?" I couldn't help but tease Su Hao. Su Hao picked a terrible spot, right in the front row, dead center. I'm nearsighted. I can't see the board from too far away. He doesn't usually wear glasses. Seeing my doubtful expression, Su Hao explained frankly, "I don't have extra money, so I never got glasses." I pouted. "I thought you were afraid someone else would sit next to you, so you deliberately chose this awful spot to save it for me." Su Hao looked up from his test papers and told me very honestly, "You're overthinking it." Whether I was overthinking it or not, after school at noon, I still dragged Su Hao to the glasses shop outside the school, and I forcibly got him a pair of glasses, claiming it was for his own good. "If you can't see the board and your grades slip, who's going to tutor me? Consider these glasses as my payment for tutoring you. After all, it's Bai Ningbing's money anyway. He owes me so much. What's wrong with spending a little of his cash?" I originally just wanted to get Su Hao a pair of glasses. I didn't expect to make her cry, even when bullied by Zhou Qingyu and the others. Su Hao never shed a single tear, but when I put the glasses on her, she broke down sobbing uncontrollably. Su Hao kept choking up, saying, "Song Pei, when I have money in the future, I will definitely pay you back." After finally calming her down and heading back to the classroom, I got stopped by Bai Ningbing in the stairwell. He demanded, "Why didn't you choose the seat we agreed on?" "Who agreed with you?" I retorted impatiently, "Bai Ningbing. Did I ever promise you anything?" Bai Ningbing was instantly left speechless. He stared at me for a long while before speaking again. "Song Pei, why is everything different now? Did you also have someone who came back to you with a smile?" "Have what?" Unfortunately, Bai Ningbing didn't answer me, but the fact that he stopped me in the stairwell somehow reached Zhou Qingyu's ears. After class, Zhou Qingyu came over personally to warn me, "Stay away from Bai Ningbing. Su Hao, out of concern, also advised me. Song Pei, you should really stay away from Bai Ningbing. Try not to have any contact with him. To persuade me. She even took the initiative to tell me the reason he was bullied by Zhou Qingyu before. Bai Ningbing only asked me for help once. Zhou Qingyu said I was trying to seduce him, Song Pei. Zhou Qingyu isn't someone to mess with. I'm afraid he'll cause trouble for you. I wished for nothing more than to stay far away from Bai Ningbing. But he's like a clingy ghost, always appearing at unexpected moments. Suddenly by my side, I sighed quietly to myself, put down the practice problems in my hand, and patted the worried-looking Su Hao. I reassured him not to worry. However, Su Hao's worries were soon proven right. Zhou Qingyu stopped me in the hallway. I intended to refuse, but seeing the undisguised hatred in her eyes towards me, I suddenly changed my mind. This lifetime, Zhou Qingyu's attitude towards me is too different. Sometimes I wonder if she, like Bai Yunbing and me, has also been reborn. What do you want to talk about? I took 2 steps closer and asked her. Zhou Qingyu didn't speak. As the voices from the stairwell grew louder and louder, he turned his head and glanced at me. With a disdainful tone, he said, "We have nothing to talk about. If you weren't being fostered by the Bai family, you wouldn't even be qualified to speak to me." The moment the words left his mouth, he fell straight backward. Bai Ningbing, who was coming upstairs, happened to see him fall. "Song Pei, why did you push him?" Zhou Qingyu tearfully confronted me. Her words made the surrounding classmates, unaware of the situation, turn their reproachful gazes toward me. Bai Ningbing frowned without saying a word. He looked up at me, standing on the corridor. Then he asked a few boys to take Zhou Qingyu to the hospital. Zhou Qingyu was still sobbing to Bai Ningbing as he was being taken away. "Hey Bing, my leg hurts so much. Will I never be able to play basketball again?" Bai Ningbing comforted him with a few words and watched him leave. After everyone had dispersed, Bai Ningbing finally walked up to me. He lowered his gaze and narrowed his eyes. His opening demand was for me to go apologize to AU. Why on earth should I apologize? He fell down by himself. Bai Ningbing let out a deep sigh. AU has loved gaming since childhood. His dream has always been to join the national team one day. Are you suggesting he used his own future to frame you? Song Pei, I know you resent Auntie, but all of that was her. Suddenly, she caught herself. She didn't finish the sentence. I scoffed and deliberately asked her, "All of what, Bai Ningbing? I just transferred schools. I've had no conflict with Zhou Qingyu. So, tell me, why would I resent him?" Bai Ningbing fell silent, just staring at me. The more she tried to hide the fact of her rebirth, "I'm just determined to expose him. Because you know I was reborn just like you, right? You know that in our past life, Zhou Qingyu did many things that hurt me. You think I hate him. So that's why I took revenge and pushed him down the stairs, is that it?" I thought after speaking so frankly, he would at least be a bit more honest. But Bai Ningbing's lips trembled for a long time. And in the end, he still denied it. "I don't understand what you're saying. But if you've done something wrong, you should apologize." "I'll go apologize to AU, okay?" I couldn't help but laugh in anger. "Bai Ningbing, you're still the same. Even after living a whole new life, you're still just a coward who deceives himself, afraid to face the mistakes you made in your past life. So you also dare not admit that you've been reborn." My words made Bai Ningbing's pupils tremble violently. But soon he turned away, avoiding my gaze. "I'm going to see how IU is doing." After saying that, she quickly turned around. I don't know if she was genuinely worried about Zhou Qingyu, or just wanted to get away from me as soon as possible. But I couldn't just let it go. I caught up to her in a few steps. "Aren't you the one who thinks I pushed her? Then of course I have to go see her and let her think carefully again about whether it was really me who pushed her or not." When Bai Ningbing and I arrived at the hospital, Zhou Qingyu's leg was already in a cast. Lying on the hospital bed, she started crying as soon as she saw Bai Ningbing. "Ah Bing, the doctor said my leg is badly injured." Seeing me following Bai Ningbing into the room, she turned her head to confront me. "Song Pei, why did you push me? You know how much I love playing basketball. My legs can't get hurt." "What did Toi, Bu Nung So Shang?" I listened to him quietly until he finished, then smiled and asked, "Zhou Qingyu, are you sure it was me who pushed you down the stairs? There were only the 2 of us there at the time. If it wasn't you, who else could it be?" Her emotions were high, and her act was quite convincing. "I've loved playing basketball since I was a child. Do you know how much I cherish these legs? You've ruined me. My parents won't let you get away with this." "Song Pei, Just wait to be expelled from school. Bai Ningbing patted Zhou Qingyu's back in a comforting gesture, then turned and ordered me again. Song Pei, apologize. I ignored her and continued, looking straight at Zhou Qingyu. You think just because there's no surveillance in the stairwell, you can frame me, right? Zhou Qingyu, I suggest you find someone else. And take a good, hard look around. Look for any cameras nearby that you might have missed. Zhou Qingyu's face stiffened for a moment. I caught that subtle change in her expression. Zhou Qingyu hasn't been reborn. Because if she had, she'd definitely know that the surveillance cameras in the opposite teaching building could capture that area. Feeling disappointed, I prepared to leave. Bai Ningbing originally planned to leave with me, but Zhou Qingyu stopped her. Hey Bing, my leg hurts so much. Could you stay with me, please? Bai Ningbing glanced at Zhou Qingyu, then called out to me again. Song Pei, wait for me outside. Like hell I'd wait for her. I walked out of the hospital without looking back. As soon as I returned to campus, Su Hao called out to me from behind. Out of breath, he handed me a USB drive. What's this? Su Hao took several deep breaths before saying, I heard from classmates about what happened between you and Zhou Qingyu. There are no hallway cameras to prove your innocence. I searched for a long time and finally found surveillance footage in the opposite teaching building. It happened to capture what really went down between you two that day. Zhou Qingyu's father is one of the school's shareholders. I was afraid they might delete the footage. I hurried to secretly copy a copy from the surveillance room. Instantly, a warm current surged in my heart. I put my arm around Su Hao's shoulder and got mushy with him. Su Hao, you're so good to me. Su Hao pushed his glasses up the bridge of his nose. Even though he tried his best to hide it, I still noticed the tips of his ears were already flushed red. He tried to suppress the corners of his mouth, looking a bit unnatural. Pretending to be aloof, he said, hurry back to the classroom. The midterm exams are coming up soon. You need to focus on your studies. It's just a pity that the surveillance footage Su Hao painstakingly copied for me didn't capture the night that Zhou Qingyu, hunched over, was scouting the hallways for cameras and was caught red-handed by me and Bai Ningbing, who had come back to school to get something. Before I could even speak, Bai Ningbing had already walked up to ask him, what are you doing at school alone so late at night? Zhou Qingyu hemmed and hawed, unable to come up with a suitable excuse for a long time. I hate seeing people in awkward situations, so I kindly spoke up for her. Of course she came back because she was worried and wanted to find the surveillance footage. I kindly pointed out the building across the way. The surveillance camera you're looking for is over there, perfectly angled to capture this spot. But it might be too late for you to go delete the footage now, because I've already made a copy. Zhou Qingyu, I'll ask you one more time. Did I push you? Zhou Qingyu was fuming with anger. He looked at Bai Ningbing, only to find her gaze fixed on his leg, encased in a cast. You can still come to school all by yourself with a cast on. Zhou Qingyu was in a panic, stammering out an incoherent explanation. In the end, he had no choice but to admit, Bing, I'm sorry. I was just so scared at the time. That's why I thought Song Pei pushed me. Actually, I fell on my own. Bai Ningbing's face was cold as ice. She shook him off and walked straight away. The next day, under my pressure, Zhou Qingyu admitted in front of the whole class that he fell by himself. In the second semester of my sophomore year, Su Hao and I both applied to live on campus. She did it because her aunt had to move away for work, and they didn't want her living alone. As for me, I was fed up with Bai Ningbing's fake attentiveness. In this lifetime, my relationship with the Bai couple wasn't deep. They only asked a few questions before agreeing. Only Bai Ningbing strongly opposed it. He asked me why I had to live on campus. While packing my things, I brushed him off impatiently. Living on campus is convenient and better for studying. Bai Ningbing said nothing more. It was quiet behind me for a long time. Just as I thought Bai Ningbing had left, I heard him suddenly say, You want to get away from me, don't you, Song Pei? I really thought we could start over. But you refused to forgive me. You still hate me. I turned to look at Bai Ningbing. Leisurely, I deliberately asked him, Why should I hate you, Bai Ningbing? You're so strange. First, you said I hated Zhou Qingyu. Now, you're saying I hate you. Bai Ningbing looked at me for a long time. He slowly closed his eyes, then opened them again. The corners of his mouth twitched. You really do hate me, don't you? Song Pei, can you forget what happened in our past life? Can't we just start over? I narrowed my eyes at her and sneered, Done pretending? But Bai Ningbing acted as if she couldn't see. My obvious disgust. She just kept talking to herself. Song Pei, since fate has given us a chance to do it all over again, let's just forget the things from our past life and start fresh, okay? Bai Ningbing is truly rotten to the core. Suppressing the rage in my heart, I glared at her. Bai Ningbing, you weren't the one who got hurt in our past life. You weren't the one who lost everything. So you can easily say, to forget all that pain and start over. But why should I forget? And why the hell should I start over with you? The one who inflicted the pain can just brush it off. Saying, I'm sorry, is just 3 simple words. Attempting to erase the suffering of the victims. All harm is forgiven. She thinks it's really beautiful, but Bai Sun still refuses to give up. Song Pei, what you lost in your past life, can I make it up to you for the rest of this lifetime? In my previous life, before I got engaged, you said you think you are the happiest person in the world. As long as you're willing to let go, you can be just like you were back then in this lifetime. Becoming good brothers with Zhou Qingyu. And we are no longer siblings. My parents won't oppose us being together. Let's get married right after we graduate from college. Your parents will treat you as their own biological son. We can live a happy life to the end. Song Pei, you can still do it. The happiest person in the world. Can we start over? I refused him with a cold expression. No way, not in this lifetime. I can't become brothers with Zhou Qingyu. And marrying you is even more impossible. Bai Ningbing, when will you stop deceiving yourself? I'm not deceiving myself. Bai Ningbing stubbornly retorted. Song Pei, nothing is impossible. A crazed light flickered in his eyes. Bai Ningbing is a paranoid, unreasonable lunatic. I don't know what method he used. But soon Zhou Qingyu also started boarding at school, and was even assigned to the same dormitory as Su Hao and me. He tried multiple times to actively reach out to us, but Su Hao and I just ignored him. Then, the day before the final exams, Su Hao and I were studying in our dorm room. Zhou Qingyu suddenly burst in. He started smashing things and yelling at us. Why do you hate me so much? I've already apologized to you, and I've been trying so hard to please you. What more do you want from me? Today is supposed to be my birthday, but here I am, stuck in this damn dorm, putting up with your contempt. I begged my mom to come pick me up, but Bai Ningbing wouldn't let her. She's forcing me to be friends with you. I don't want to be friends with you at all. I hate you all. Ever since I was old enough to understand, my dad told me to please Bai Ningbing, to make her like me, so that she would marry me in the future. I've been working so hard, trying my best to do all these things. But why is it that the moment you, Song Pei, showed up, all my previous efforts went down the drain? Su Hao and I exchanged a bewildered look, watching Zhou Qingyu sitting on the floor, sobbing hysterically. Su Hao pulled me away from the dorm room. She asked me, do you think I'm being too cold towards Zhou Qingyu? I shook my head and told her, she bullied you. How you treat her is your right. No one can demand you forgive someone who hurt you. In my view, Su Hao was already being kind enough. At the very least, when leaving the dorm, she tossed a pack of tissues to the crying Zhou Qingyu. After that day, Zhou Qingyu became even stranger. She started clinging to Su Hao and me by any means necessary. She asked the teacher to change seats and sat behind me. Zhou Qingyu created an illusion for everyone that we were good friends. She said, I've made up my mind. I want to study hard with you all from now on. And hopefully, we can even get into the same university. So he often asked me to teach him how to solve problems. Song Pei, please teach me, won't you? Zhou Qingyu's tone made me feel a sense of déjà vu. It reminded me of things from my past life. Back then, he was my best friend. Whenever Zhou Qingyu asked for my help in the past, he used the exact same tone. Su Hao once asked me privately, wondering if Zhou Qingyu had genuinely changed for the better. Maybe, I murmured, looking at Zhou Qingyu, who was walking towards us in the distance. I whispered to Su Hao, but I still believe that people don't suddenly undergo a complete personality change. No one changes overnight, and no one becomes a better person all of a sudden. These days continued all the way until the college entrance exams were over. Just like Bai Ningbing said, he's genuinely trying to make up for what he owed me in our past life. And he's gradually retrieving everything I lost before. My relationship with Zhou Qingyu has indeed eased somewhat, thanks to his one-sided efforts. The Bai couple also treats me better and better. After the college entrance exams, they even specifically brought me back to the Bai family and said they want to host an 18th birthday party for me. Zhou Qingyu, who came to the Bai family to see me, found out about this. He volunteered on his own initiative, saying, "I want to contribute to Song Pei's birthday party too." Bai Ningbing smiled and nodded in agreement. "Great, you're Song Pei's best friend. He'll surely be happy that you're willing to help." After saying that, Bai Ningbing looked at me with a meaningful gaze. "Song Pei, your relationship with AU now is getting better and better. Indeed, nothing is impossible." I know exactly what he means by that. I just smiled without arguing back. On my birthday, Bai Ningbing gave me a wristwatch worth over 3 million. I didn't refuse and gladly accepted it. After all, my foster relationship with the Bai family would only last until I turned 18. I'd need money for many things after leaving the Bai family. If he's willing to give, I have no reason not to accept. The Bai family carries significant influence in North City. Even for a birthday party held for me, many socialites and dignitaries attended, along with some classmates, invited by Zhou Qingyu. I only invited Su Hao. This birthday gathering was too grand and extravagant, making both Su Hao and me feel out of place. We slipped away to the backyard together. "What are your plans for the summer break?" Su Hao sipped his soda and replied softly, "I plan to get a summer job. I need to at least earn enough to cover my first year's living expenses." My mom flashed the watch on her wrist, telling me to take her with me. Before she could finish her sentence, a sudden scream erupted from inside the villa. By the time Su Hao and I rushed to the second floor, Bai Ningbing and Zhou Qingyu were already dressed. But the telltale marks on their bodies and the disheveled state of the bedroom made it all too easy to guess what had happened in that room. Mr. Bai slapped Bai Ningbing across the face in front of all the guests. "How dare you do something so shameless?" Zhou Qingyu stepped in front of Bai Ningbing, pleading through tears on his behalf. "Uncle, please don't blame Abing." Chaos engulfed the Bai household. Bai Ningbing spotted me standing at the back of the crowd. He tried to come over and explain himself to me, but Zhou Qingyu's parents stopped her. "Abing, you can't leave. Since you and Au have gotten into this situation, we all must sit down and properly discuss what to do next." The gathering ended early in the end. Around 10 o'clock at night, the Zhou family finally left the Bai residence. It seemed the two families had reached an agreement. They were all smiling as they left and spoke very politely. On my way back to my room to sleep, I passed by the study and happened to hear Uncle Bai say to Aunt Bai, "Let's have them get engaged in a couple of days. You start preparing for the engagement banquet in advance." That night, Bai Ningbing knocked on my door. I pretended not to hear. The next day, as I was about to go out to work a summer job with Su Hao, Bai Ningbing stopped me. He tried to explain to me, "I don't know what happened yesterday. I was drugged." I looked at him with a smile. "Drugged by someone else? Or drugged yourself?" Pain flashed in Bai Ningbing's eyes. "How could I possibly drug myself? Why not?" I said sarcastically. "Bai Ningbing, in my past life, didn't you drug yourself, ruin my innocence, and then made me take the blame for you? In my past life, I always thought that Zhou Qingyu was the one who drugged Bai Ningbing. It wasn't until right before I died that Bai Ningbing confessed to me. He said, 'Brother, what else could I do? I like you. I actually like my own brother.' I thought this was the right thing to do. My parents will agree to let me marry you. But I never imagined that my father would be so enraged that it would cost him his life. If it weren't because I like you, big brother, I won't drive my own father to his grave, nor will I live in guilt for my entire life. Not even the courage to see your own mother. Brother, you made a mistake too. So you should stay by my side in hell." As he spoke, he suddenly hugged me tightly again. "Brother, please don't leave me. I'm wrong, I truly am. I shouldn't have bullied you." Bai Ningbing from the previous life deceived others as well as herself. He could even shift all the blame for drugging me onto me. To numb oneself. Make yourself feel better. She has always been a coward who deceives herself, whether in the past life or this life. "Sorry," Bai Ningbing and Ya Sheng, begging for my forgiveness, saying you were the one who wronged me in our past lives. "I truly know I was wrong. Won't you forgive me? But this time, I really didn't drug you. Believe me." He reached out to grab me, but I dodged him as if repulsed by dirt. As I turned and walked away, I heard Bai Ningbing still calling out, "Song Pei, I'll break off the engagement with Zhou Qingyu. Wait for me." I walked straight ahead without looking back. As college was about to start, Su Hao came to the Bai house to help me move my things. The Bai couple had reverted to their former coldness toward me. Hearing I was moving out, they reacted with indifference. just exchanging a few polite words. Everything was going smoothly at first. But then Bai Ningbing came home early and stopped me. My parents agreed to let you move out? Seeing me nod, he still refused to believe it. Impossible. My parents said they really like you. They've always treated you as their own son. Wait here, I'll go ask them. When he went inside, Su Hao and I had already grabbed our things and left. After leaving the neighborhood, we ran into Zhou Qingyu again. Zhou Qingyu was no longer like before, greeting us. He also stopped trying to suck up to me and Su Hao. I think he probably didn't want to acknowledge us at all. But for some reason, he suddenly turned back and called out to me. Song Pei, you didn't really think before that I actually wanted to be your bro, did you? To be honest, if it weren't for Bai Ningbing's request, I wouldn't even give someone like you a second glance. Probably because he and Bai Ningbing were already engaged. Zhou Qingyu even leaned close to my ear and told me her secret. Actually, on your birthday, I was the one who drugged Bai Ningbing. I glanced at Zhou Qingyu, thinking from the bottom of my heart that he and Bai Ningbing were a perfect match. They could even conceive such disgusting methods. Once we're out of here, I will marry her. She is the only woman in the Bai family. So eventually, even the Bai family will belong to me. Song Pei. To be honest, I don't even like Bai Ningbing that much anymore. But I have no choice. My parents are too eager for me to marry her. Zhou Qingyu boasted to me about all the benefits of marrying Bai Ningbing, while I remained indifferent the whole time. No one understands better than I do how much suffering comes with marrying someone like Bai Ningbing. After parting ways with Zhou Qingyu, Su Hao suddenly said, Song Pei, you're right. No one becomes bad overnight. And no one becomes good overnight either. She sighed with emotion. Fortunately, we're not on the list. 4 years after graduation, both Su Hao and I chose not to pursue further studies. We started our own business. On my 18th birthday, Bai Ningbing gave me a very expensive wristwatch. I sold that watch, which became the seed money for our startup. We were lucky these past few years, and with some memories from my past life, Su Hao and I managed to run the company quite successfully. I met Bai Ningbing again at a bidding event. Over the years, I've heard bits and pieces about her and Zhou Qingyu. They divorced not long after getting married. At first, Zhou Qingyu refused to divorce, since his family had always schemed to inherit the Bai family's fortune. But Bai Ningbing had all sorts of methods. Zhou Qingyu was thoroughly tormented, and eventually had no choice but to give in. After the bidding ended, Bai Ningbing caught up with me in the parking lot. He was at a loss and had been preparing for a long time. He only said, Sorry, Song Pei. I glanced at him. If you really feel sorry for me, to withdraw from the bidding. Bai Ningbing paused for a moment and actually agreed, saying, All right. Even so, I won't take it seriously. Bai Ningbing is an extremely selfish person. His apologies have always been nothing more than empty words. When it comes down to the crucial moment that affects one's interests, Bai Ningbing is more clear-headed than anyone. I briefly explained it to Su Hao over the phone. The situation of today's bidding. Su Hao sighed. The Bai family also got involved. Does that mean there's no hope left for us? I'd say that's not necessarily the case. The Bai family has fallen so low they're dealing with the likes of us. This newly established company is eager to acquire talent. This just proves the Bai family is truly on the verge of collapse. Just wait. This time we've got it in the bag. He breathed a sigh of relief. Hearing you say that puts my mind at ease. Su Hao trusts me. He always trusts me. The bid announcement results were exactly as I predicted. Seeing the results, I turned and walked out, brimming with excitement. I wanted to find a quiet place to call Su Hao and tell him the news. But when I turned around, I saw Bai Ningbing standing not far behind me. Sunlight streamed in through the glass window outside. I stood bathed in the warm, radiant light. Bai Ningbing, just a few steps away, was shrouded in the shadow cast by the wall. He forced a smile and offered his congratulations. Congratulations. The smile on my own lips faded. All I felt inside was a sense of ill omen. On such a wonderful day as this. 怎么就碰上这么个晦气玩意儿? But Bai Ningbing was a person utterly lacking in self-awareness. It was as if he couldn't see my disgust for him. He continued, Last time you told me to withdraw from the bid. After I went back, I had my people pull out. Why am I frowning impatiently? You're here to collect a favor, Mr. Bai? I was just saying it offhand. I don't have that much influence over your decisions, do I? Bai Ningbing's anxiety becomes visibly apparent. That's not what I meant. He stammers in his own defense. Songpei, I just came today to see you. I wanted to talk to you, nothing more. I just wanted to tell you, I'm willing to do anything you ask. I scoff, anything. Bai Ningbing nods eagerly. Yes, anything you want me to do. All right then, I say softly. Then how about you never appear in front of me again, okay? After saying those words, I turn and walk away. After a few steps, I can't help but look back. Just in time to see Bai Ningbing hunched over, trembling. He puts a few pills into his mouth. Noticing my gaze, he hurriedly straightens up, hiding the medicine bottle behind his back. His eyes suddenly light up as if he's seen a ray of hope. He didn't need to hide it, really, because I don't care if she's sick or not, nor do I care what medicine she's taking. I just told him the truest thoughts in my heart. Bai Ningbing, what I really wanted to say was, I hope you die, but I know you definitely won't. So just don't appear in front of me anymore. That way, I can at least fool myself into thinking you're really dead. After saying that, I didn't linger. The glass in the lobby reflected her slumped figure, like a melted chocolate ice cream. While discussing the project, Su Hao unintentionally mentioned funeral arrangements. That's when I realized I really hadn't seen Bai Yin in a long time. It was as if she had truly vanished. I couldn't help but recall the last time I heard news about her. That was a year ago, hearing from a partner's family that she was ill. Who knew depression could be so terrifying? That Miss Bai from the Bai family is pretty much done for. Old Mr. Bai had already retired, but now he's had to come out of retirement. His daughter, who was perfectly fine, suddenly fell ill. She hides at home all day, refusing to see anyone. Madame Bai even invited a Taoist priest to perform rites at their house. It's just like being possessed by a ghost. She can't be exposed to light or see people. The slightest provocation triggers an episode. You haven't seen her have an episode, it's terrifying. Seeing me frozen in place, the director pulled me out of the wardrobe. Su Hao patted me. What are you thinking about? I shook my head with a smile, snapping out of my reverie. I refocused on my work. Whether Bai Ningbing is doing well or not has nothing to do with me. All I know is that I'm living a good life now. Su Hao is like another version of me in this world. He understands me, believes in me, and always supports me. We share the same values, and our souls are in sync. Everything I wanted in my previous life has been fulfilled in this one. I often marvel at how fate has truly favored me.